Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe. Welcome all you cool ghouls and friendly fiends to the House of the Unusual podcast. I'm your host, Joe Pavlansky, and I am coming to you from an undisclosed location, maybe in my breezeway while it's raining. With me tonight are three of my good buddies, Eddie, Chuck, and Cheri. What's up, everyone?
Hello.
Everything's good, Joe. Everything's good over here.
Awesome. Sounds good. So what's new with everybody, man? It's that time of year where everybody's busy because it's sunny out and everything. So let's go around and see what's new. And we're gonna start off with Chuck and Cheri. What's up?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, Joe. We just finished a show, actually. We were at a retirement, almost like a nursing home. It started at, was that 1 o'clock, Cheri?
Yeah, yeah, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, they were great. They were great, man. They were fantastic people and everything. And so I set up the big show, and I took it down, and so we've been relaxing for about the last maybe couple hours, watching some TV and so forth. But yeah, what do you have to say, Cheri?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Joe, we did homework. We did your assignment.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
We watched the movie.
That was The Tortured Chamber of Dr. Sadism, I believe.
That's it. You got it.
Awesome. Yeah. How was it?
It was good. You know,
it was different.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. You know what? I like the scenery. I mean,
cool.
Yeah, the actual torture chamber was pretty cool. And when they were riding through the woods, like on the,
the carriage.
Yeah, the carriage, like the horse-drawn carriage. It kind of reminded me of like a haunted hayride.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think the best part of that movie was the set pieces.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, that was fantastic. And Christopher Lee's fantastic. And Lex Barker, wow, yeah, he did a wonderful job. You know what? Like I always check up the, the people that that were acting on there. Lex Barker died only like maybe 4 or 5 years later. He was only 50 or 51, I believe.
Yeah.
And he passed away of a sudden heart attack.
Yeah, he was real young. That's definitely a shame. So, but I'm glad you guys got to watch it. And you know what? I got your book in the mail from both of you. So thank you very much.
Good.
That was a wonderful gift. I was flipping through it, and I'm like,
nice.
This is really cool. I'm like, all the pictures and the information. I at first, you know what? I thought it was a book by the publishing company DK. Because they make a lot of books that look like that. A lot of like real nice pictures with information, just filled with stuff. And here it was by Barnes and Nobles. I didn't know they had their own publishing company, that's really cool. And yeah, that was an awesome book. So thank you so much.
Good. We weren't sure if you might have had it already, but we wanted to surprise you. We thought you'd like that.
Yeah. It seems you like, war and salvos and things. And so we figured, what the heck, we're going to get this for you. So
I've always been into, learning about, military stuff ever since a young age. That was kind of what, propelled me into the military after graduation. But it's always cool, learning about the different things over history, over time. And I tell you what else is cool is that I've always, enjoyed along with that is remember the old model kits, of like the war scenery and all that of the tank.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wasn't the artwork fantastic on that?
It was beautiful. Yeah. Back when I was a kid, we used to build the submarines, I remember, and they were pretty cool.
Did you?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this was back in the late 60s. And I think they've had a little motor with a little propeller. So it would actually go underwater. I mean, they were really neat. That was probably 1970, 1969.
Right.
Somewhere around there.
Wow.
Really showing your age there, Chuck.
I know, right? How about you, Eddie? Did you like the military toys and things?
It's funny how our show always morphs into something one from the other. But the good thing about it is that you guys started the subject that we need to discuss. When I was a kid, I love. First of all, Joe, what is the title of the book? Because we say the book, I'm sure our audience wants to know what you received.
Oh yeah, tell them, Joe.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to run because it's about 10 feet away on my table, and I'm going to grab it. So give me like 2 seconds.
Some excuse, Joe. Always has to, because listen. I think we are a radio station of mystery, mayhem.
That's right.
Everything we can think and horror, but.
That's right.
Joe, did you get it, Joe? That was enough to run.
Yeah, we'll just sing a little bit. La 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 la.
All right. I found it. It is called Warships today over 200 of the world's deadliest fighting ships. And it is I tell you what, it's a fantastic book. There is some great photos.
So glad.
You know what?
Like I said, if people out there are familiar with DK publishing books, this is just like it. There's some good ones in here. This is really, really cool.
Oh, I'm so glad.
You know,
the submarines and all that, and the carriers and the battleships.
Well, let's discuss, Joe, before you go any further with that. Let's discuss the other objects that are not submarine. They do fly, but they are not of this world. Okay. I was noticing in yesterday's newspaper, yesterday's morning, there was a thing that said Congress will hold a panel on hearings of UFOs. And Congress was scheduled to hold this panel. And it says Representative for Republican Adam Schiff, chairman of the House committee, said the public deserves to learn more about what the government knows about the unexplained flying objects that have long been a subject of conspiracy theories. Today, the paper reads, defense holds the hearing. So I guess it was one day to the next. And apparently, they were shown, it says it's the first hearing in a century. Okay? In almost, where does it say? Almost half a century or something, whatever, in a decade or something. And it says that their conclusion was at the end is that some of them, it says here, China and Russia are believed to have experimented with hypersonic technology, which moves more than 5 times the speed of sound. But the intelligence report didn't conclude that these nations were involved in the unexplained flights. Now, as you know, they're not called UAPs. They are no longer UFOs. They're not called UAPs. So it says here, the UAP task force has 5 potential explanations for the UAP's airborne clutter: natural atmospheric phenomena, U.S. government or U.S. industry development programs, foreign adversary systems, or others.
What does that stand? What does that stand for, Eddie? UAP. What is that?
UAP stands for unidentified aerial phenomena.
Oh, okay.
So they changed that. And then it says here, other U.S. industry development programs for foreign adversary systems or others. Mr. Brady said that other categories include difficult cases that don't fall into the other categories, he said. So apparently they did hold for the first time another thing about UFOs. Now, what I'm thinking here is, Joe, are you the guy behind this new movement?
You know what? There's actually a cool. I haven't heard much of it because there was a nice documentary. I think it's on Fox Nation's app, and it's basically it was the hearing in whole. I think it was like an hour and a half or 2 hours that I've yet to watch. So I haven't really dug into too much information on it, but you know, I'm still very, very skeptical when the government has anything to do with this because you know there's so much disinformation out there, and they've lied to us for the last 100 years. So what makes why should we believe them now? What do you think, Chuck and Cheri? Why
How about that?
Why should we believe the government now at this time?
Suddenly they're going to come clean and say,
by the way.
you know what? By the way, this is the way. No, I agree with you. I'm very skeptical.
One of the CIA's main missions is disinformation. So a lot of can be disinformation. I don't know. I'm very wary when it comes to the government having anything to do with it or any organization that's has government affiliation, because there's always something shady going on in there, and 9 times out of 10 there is, but our past history dealing with UFOs, UAPs, and all that has shown that the government has continuously lied to us. They've covered things up. They've tried to discredit people. They've probably killed people, threatened people. So why now? What do you think, Eddie? Why now should we believe the government, or maybe we shouldn't believe them?
You know what? I would say it's a 50-50 or maybe 60-50. 60 yes, 40% no. You know what I'm saying? Or should I say 60-40? I'll tell you what, because of the way the freedom of information has been put forth right now and stuff, they are kind of being caught between what do you call a rock and a hard place?
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, they have to come up and say why they have this picture of films, whatever. What is it? And I'm still sure that there's a lot of top secret programs that will not be open to the public. So that's the 40% where they'll keep hiding. But I'm sure they got to come forward with some explanations. And, the fact right now that we find out through this that China and Russia has been experimenting with things that can go 5 times the speed of sound, I'm sure very much that the United States is well more advanced than that. So, that tells you what capabilities probably are.
Yeah. They said back in the 50s or so, they said, whatever you see, the government's 25 years behind. Then they said in the 70s, whatever you see, the government's 40 years ahead. So, there's a lot of people I've read now that say what we see now, well, the government's hundreds of years ahead of it. And you think of the development of just the cell phone over the last 20 years, and that's what we're seeing. Could you imagine what they have with these billions of dollars being pumped in?
That's true.
And all this, hidden information. They could have stuff that, we've only read about in the sci-fi pulps from, the 30s and 40s.
Yeah. I think the thing that's pretty interesting, Joe, too, is that these crafts that people are seeing, that they just don't go fast, but they turn on a dime. I mean, they could go, like they'll be flying like Mach 5, but then they'll suddenly turn at a 90-degree angle, which is near impossible,
And they hover.
And they hover. Right.
Yeah, and a little bit that I've read of that, of what I know is that the theory is that they are somehow developing, and probably what Tesla technology is developing, their own gravitational field around the craft, which is allowing them to go that fast and turn on a dime without any without any hazard to somebody piloting it. But I've also heard that they may be using that technology without pilots, that these are kind of like drone type objects.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
well,
I
just
think about that.
Why don't you guys just think about this, okay? About technology and stuff like Tesla has only been around maybe 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, you didn't have Tesla in the 1980s. You didn't have him in the 90s or in the early.
No, 2000s. not Tesla the car.
Tesla the man. Tesla the man. So what I'm saying is, he comes on, and now supposedly he has. I read about it. I think it was. I forgot where exactly I saw it a couple of days ago, where he's developed I forgot what it's called, a Starlight something system that can propel people to Mars and try to cut the time to half the 5 months that are needed to get there. And you know how he has proposed to have people live on Mars. That's Tesla's main thing there. The thing I'm trying to say to you is, Tesla being a regular man, I'm sure he doesn't have any connections to the United States government secret archives, unless now with his billions, he's been able to, tap into some of those stuff. But how in the world would you think this guy would come up with so much technology in so little time that he has advanced beyond?
Are you talking about Elon Musk?
Elon Musk, yeah.
Musk, okay.
Musk.
There he is, yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think just with his, with the money that he has, and that he kind of sets his sights on something, and that's what he.
But that's correct. But what I'm saying to you is, with the technology advancements that he gets over everybody so quick, means that those technologies have existed. He's just making it better. You see, one of the things I want to basically say, if you notice, anytime the government, they're talking about like the stealth bomber, and that, if you remember Popular Science, I mentioned one time back in 1974, 75, I saw a picture of the stealth bomber, what it looked like. And they said, is this, actually, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't on the magazine. It was on the commercial for you to subscribe to Popular Science. They said the stealth bomber. Is it real? Or is it like a fake or whatever? The whole point is, 20 years later, they came out and they say, yeah, it's been real all this time. So that means that somebody must have yapped back in the 70s and told Popular Science or some reporter. So that the point is what you're saying, it is 100% true. When technology is out there, anything that does come out, even medicines, they have been on the experimental stage for years. And when they're finally out, it takes about 10 years. So that technology is like 10 years old. A good example is, a lot of people see this on you see it on the Sci-Fi Channel, not Sci-Fi Channel, you see it on the Science Channel, Discovery, A&E. You see where they put a mouse and they grew a mouse. They grew an ear on top of the mouse.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That thing, I've been seeing that. Think about this. I've been seeing that since probably 1989. Okay, so you can imagine how much more advanced they are now. If they were able to do that back then, but of course you don't know this,
right?
Everyday things like that. But do remember, I forgot what president said this. That he said if I think it was Bush Jr. That he said if when they were attacking Iraq back in the day, that if something like this is as we still have things in secret. One of them said that if we bring it out, it's like what I'm saying, that there's that much secret stuff that we don't know of.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah, there's a lot of advancements that we're not aware of. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. So right now they're blaming, okay, China and Russia have advancements, but what they're not telling you is how much more advanced we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's the point I'm trying to say.
Hey, but getting back to the stuff that they don't tell you, we just watched a special not too long ago, Cheri. It was on radium. Oh my goodness, those poor girls. What during World War I believe they would paint the clock dials, with the radium. You know what? And they were specific.
It was really safe.
Yeah, they were specifically told this is safe. This is not going to do anything. And their jaws were falling off. You know what? Their lower mandibles were coming off. And,
it was terrible.
It was ridiculous.
That's almost like the ads from the 50s and 60s where the doctor would be on there and say, I prefer Winston's or Marlboro.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Yeah, because back when I was a kid, we had commercials, as strange as it seems, of smoking people saying, go out and buy king size Chesterfields. These taste great and everything. I think the Marlboro man, I think I mentioned in the previous podcast, if I'm not mistaken, he died of lung cancer.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's funny though how you said that, with the radium and all that, because they've used that for a lot of things over the years. I mean, I'm sure you guys remember McDonald's being in hospitals.
Yeah.
And there used to be the joke, go eat your McDonald's, have a heart attack, and you're right there in the emergency.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's stuff like that. I think with the government, the military, is that they will tell you one thing, to hide the true meaning of it. And, they did that with the Manhattan Project, that was a big thing. And, they tried saying, this is, let me bring it to something that's a little bit more contemporary, is that, a couple of years ago, they were talking about the robot dogs, that these, robot dogs that they were going to make them to help people, to this and that they would help people walk. They would help people at home and this and that. And I remember a lot of, so-called conspiracy theorists saying they're going to end up using these dogs for the military. They're going to put, rifles on their backs and this and that. And people were coming out going, it's fake news. You conspiracy theorists are idiots. And it rings true. The difference between a conspiracy theory and reality is about 6 months. Yeah. Because not long after, they put sniper rifles on the dogs.
On the dogs.
Yeah, they put machine guns on them.
Wow, we got some pictures that Cheri just brought up now online. Those dogs are cool looking.
We created robot dogs to patrol the U.S. border.
Yeah,
they're like that's like scary looking. Have you seen the ones with the sniper rifles on them?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So it's like the government and military will always put it out that it's safe and it's for humanitarian, so that way the public goes, here's more money. That's great. But then there's always that nefarious, side that they're like, all right, we got the money, we got the public's trust. Let's throw some weapons on it.
Yeah. You know what? I don't believe anything I hear. No kidding, man. I don't. I'm a skeptic with all.
They'll say, well, we're going to use them to patrol, the border. So that way that the border patrol are a lot more safer. And then it's going to be, well, we're going to give them to police departments to patrol the cities, so the police are a lot more safer. And then one day you're looking outside and here's a robot dog walking down your street with a rifle on its back.
Scary.
Boy, these things look really cool. One's in motion, Cheri has online,
no,
and
that looks
wow,
creepy.
they are neat.
You know what's even funnier?
Eddie's going to end up buying a few to guard his collection in the storage.
Robot dogs,
yeah. But you know what's so funny? We're talking about this, like they're saying, oh, people are scared of AI, artificial intelligence, movies like El Machina, whatever, Ex Machina comes out, and people think that eventually they'll be able to, robots take over the world, which is something that I think I read in many robot books, because I've got probably over 100 robot books from the 70s to now. And a lot of them always portray robots, that America was scared of robots because people figured they were going to, like, the old movie where the robot kills its maker, which I think that's the original URU, I think it is, which is the first where they coined the word robot. It was an automaton they did in the 1930s, a movie. He sits down and up. I think it's called URU or something like that. And I think he kills his maker there. So that has always been a threat or a fear.
Oh, yeah.
But you can tell Japan, they always said they didn't have that fear. But one example of how technology is hidden from the rest of the world, and then all of a sudden, it's like Joe said, 2 to 3 months down the road, they had a special on the History Channel where basically they were talking about, like, where they were making the perfect partner for a man or a woman, like a sexual partner or whatever, robotic. And this was just about a year ago. I was watching that stuff. And the funny thing about it, about a month or two ago in Japan, they're already offering like female dolls and male that speak, react to the thing. And the funny thing is, if you look at it, I think they're even for sale on eBay.
Oh my God.
I mean, how does it get from technology or a pipe dream to reality, unless that technology has been there?
That's right.
Hidden somehow. And some people that are able to get money, because here's where you go. Say, for example, you go to a college, right? And you got a professor, you're learning about physics or something like that, or computer science. And then you notice the professor knows a little bit more than what's out in the public. And he always tells you, well, you know what? This is not out yet. But so that's what I'm saying. Technology is the same way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know what? I think I talked about this previously. One of my favorite movies of all time was Westworld.
Oh, yeah.
And that's written by Michael Crichton. And, his whole theme of most of his projects were about robots taking over. And that's what the whole theme of Westworld was. Like the robots caught some type of virus, strangely enough, and they just malfunctioned.
Probably COVID.
Probably COVID.
Well, guys, what was that a few years ago? Where was that Facebook or Microsoft or something that they developed the two artificial intelligence systems, and they started they developed their own language that nobody could understand, so they had to disconnect them. I mean, how freaky is that?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds far-fetched, but you know what? Who knows? You know what?
That happened. I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, that's like crazy. I mean, that's spooky crazy.
No, it is. I mean,
and who knows what they were saying?
Yeah.
They might be brainwashing you or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they're probably saying, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" And one's like, "Well, I got the robot monster plans. Don't tell Eddie." And the other one's like, "Okay, keep him aside. He'll never get them."
Take a drink.
Yeah, take a drink.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of like this. They'll have something on their sell, like things like I mentioned before, the dolls and stuff. And then it's like, who would buy something like that? Then one day they'll say free batteries for whatever. All of a sudden, 2,000 people sign up for that. It's the same thing. People. Where there's money, there's going to be a way of people.
Absolutely. Whenever
developing whatever it is.
Yeah. You know what? And if you think about it, I mean, technology has advanced, like in the last, I don't know, maybe 120 years, it went from the outhouse into the spaceship. I mean, it's just unbelievable how it advanced. I mean, there was nothing, you know what I mean? There were, there was like horse-drawn carriages, maybe a wheel and a fulcrum. And now it's microprocessors, and high tech. I mean, it's amazing. In 120 years.
It is amazing, Chuck. But I'm going to tell you something. What Joe just said about that computer thing, that's back to 2009, I think.
Wow.
Or 2007. So we're talking like 15 years ago or more.
Yeah, really. What the heck is there out there now, huh? You makes you wonder.
Joe, are you still there?
Who is that guy from South Korea that developed that robot? And she actually learns. I think it was not a few years ago. Saudi Arabia made her a citizen.
Oh wow!
Have you heard about that one?
No.
I've seen it because there's a special, just like where Honda has put over $2 or $3 million on its little what do they call him, isomorph, or something like that. The guy runs around. He runs around like a regular person. He's about 5'2". Their robot, their favorite, which is the one. It's made by Honda, but it's one of their favorite robots. But this is the one they're showing the public. So, I mean, I love watching all the stuff about robotics and stuff. And in the back of my mind deep, I think of those robot plans that Joe never got me. But anyway, you know how it is, Joe.
Oh, here's something Cheri just found. Here's something Cheri just found this online. It says in 2017, social robot Sophia was given citizenship of Saudi Arabia, the first robot to be given legal personhood anywhere in the world. Bestowed with the great gift, Sophia has embarked on a distinguished career in marketing. Wow.
What?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
one thing
that's crazy. And and I watched an interview with her where it was the inventor Sophia and then a journalist, and he was to ask her any question that he wants and she would answer on her own, and you could tell some of the answers were off, but she was actually thinking about it and answering on her own. And he says that as she's getting more information, she actually learns from it and develops her own opinions and everything of it.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't seem that far fetched. I mean, would I actually trust these automatons?
Here's a little thing of a back and forth with Sophia from Hanson Robotics, and it was Andrew Sorskin that was interviewing her, and it was Sophia. She says, "I want to use my AI to help humans live a better life, like design smarter homes, build better cities of the future, etc. I will do much best to make the world a better place." And then ARS says, "Those sound like great goals, but go back to Blade Runner for a second." Sophia says, "Andrew, you are a diehard Hollywood fan, aren't you?" Andrew says, "Yes." Sophia says, "My AI is designed around human values like wisdom, kindness, compassion. I strive to become an empathetic robot." And Andrew says, "We all believe you, but we all want to prevent a bad future." Sophia says, "You've been reading too much Elon Musk and watching too many Hollywood movies. Don't worry, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Treat me as a smart input-output system." That's kind of freaky. That's her own thoughts being,
Joe,
he kind of held her ground there a little bit, saying, "If you treat me nice, I'll treat you nice."
Yeah, what happens if you treat her bad?
I mean,
listen,
like wonder if
guys
or something when she's gonna choke you. I don't know.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, but you guys got to see one thing, and this is something that you guys have. I'm sure that everybody have known, but anytime Chuck has a thought, I have a thought, Joe has a thought, somebody somewhere is thinking the same thing, and they're going to launch the same thing. And it's happened to me a couple of times. I wanted to run an ad about UFOs in Popular Science. There had been a couple of months or years. Nothing ran. The day I ran my ad, somebody had the same exact ad selling a different thing than me, but a very similar ad about UFOs that competed with mine. And I can't say he competed because I was there first. No, we both started running the ad at the same time. So having said that, also one time, long time, all of us know, and we heard of the, David, how David kills Goliath. He has that sling.
Right.
When I was a small kid in Cuba, my grandfather used to make me those slings. I got pretty good at them. I used to, shoot rocks away.
Wow, that's cool, man. And so you got good at that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I really was. So my grandfather taught me how to do one. So back in the mid-'80s, I wanted, to make one. So I had my brother-in-law who was, a semi-artist, whatever. He was pretty good at drawing. I said, "Can you draw me a guy shooting a thing and hitting like a raccoon?" But what he did is he kind of drew it a little too graphic. He put the raccoon where the rock penetrated the raccoon and came out the other side. So I was like, that's a beautiful ad. It came out really now. And I came up with the idea of lay him down sling, like lay him down, you know. And so I was all ready to run it on, I think I was going to run it in a magazine called Soldier of Fortune. And I was going to run the ad and I was all ready to sell. And for some crazy benign reason, some guy runs the ad a month before me and he calls it the David Sling and he's selling it back then for $19.95.
Oh, my goodness.
The ad ran for the next 5 years.
Wow.
I gave up because what happened with me was that he beat me to the punch because every time, you know, I sent the ad in, they sent it back saying that it was too graphic. It showed like, you know, animal activists could, you know, cause the problem.
Oh yeah.
They didn't want the rock to be, you know, so by the time he drew me the new one, I just gave up on it. But the point is, we're talking about all this technology and we're talking about Sophia and stuff. I'm sure that Susie, not Sophia, Susie is more advanced than Sophia by now. And Joe, can you please tell us when you purchased her?
I wish I need someone to do all my cleaning around here.
Oh, yeah, just don't holler at her.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I got to be nice to her. But you know, we talk about how the robots were in, you know, how they were used in the military and for government and all that. And you know, and I said years ago when you started seeing these, yeah, I guess you could say they're sort of kind of artificial intelligence at supermarkets, at the self-checkout lines. You know, they'll talk to you, they'll say hi, and you do your self-checkout, and they tell you thank you and goodbye. And if you miss something, they tell you. And, you know, I said from the beginning, I said, you know, everyone said, oh, this is great. We could go through faster and this and that. And, you know, myself and tons of other people were saying, this is going to take jobs away from people.
Absolutely.
And they said, oh, no, this is the future. And you know, now you can't go to a supermarket. You might have one line open with an actual person, and everything else is.
Yeah, it's actually pretty sad because when I was building my railings up at my house here, I had to get a bunch of wood, and you know what? Even at Home Depot, there was like maybe one person checking out. The rest were all automated lines. Even at Home Depot, it's a shame.
Yeah, and you know, and I refuse to go through those. And you know, I actually the one time I was at Walmart early in the morning after work, and I can't remember what I needed to buy, and they only had self-checkout open. I said, and it was like 7:30. I said, well, where's somebody that could open up a register? And she goes, oh, we don't open those up until I think it was like 8 a.m. or something. And I said, well, I guess I'll just wait here then. You know, I said, because I don't work here, so I'm not checking myself out. I said, you know, you guys get paid to work here. That's your job. And I stood in the line, and finally about 10 to 8 somebody came over and opened up, because there was like me, and there was probably about 15 people behind me that also refused to go through the self-checkout line. So they're not as popular as some people think they are. There's still people out there, and it's usually a lot of like older people too, you know, 30s, 40s and up, that they don't want no part of it because they know how it takes jobs away from people.
Absolutely.
You know, it's funny that you said that, Joe, because up here, everybody's using the checkout. I think there's very few places where you even have live people. I kind of like the self-checkout in the sense that it's quicker, I think. I just want to like go in and out. That's funny. I never thought about what you just said about the checkout, but
yeah, I mean, it's definitely quicker and more convenient, but you know, we're sacrificing, you know, one thing for another. So you're getting your convenience, but you're taking away from people's jobs. And that's the way that I look at it. And I don't, you know, I'll go through the hassle of not being convenienced, you know, in order to kind of like protest it.
What they've done here, though, is instead of having cashiers, there's more people. Like in Walmart, there's more people stocking the shelves. And there's more people like Walmart here has upped their hiring. Like before they had so many when all the cashiers were there and stuff like that. Now they up the hiring because the problem we had before is that Walmart gets so overcrowded without the self-checkout lines. The lines were halfway down the store. And if you were trying to get help, they had no help because everybody was in the cash registers. So
and that's when you hire double for stocking, and you hire more cashiers, and you have more open, which creates more jobs.
Well, they're
even talking about now that they're developing robots to stock the shelves. There's robotics used in the warehouses. So when is it going to be time when nobody has a job?
They'll be getting Sophia's to stock the shelf. And
really.
You get choked.
You're killing me here, Joe. You know I'm a robot lover, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
I'll never get my plans because of you, Joe.
We're all robot lovers, but we have that. We're still picturing the robots from the 30s through the 50s, where robot and it actually helped people. But they've taken that idea and they've exploded it, and made it to where disguised it as helping humanity, where it's basically taken over, and it's pushing us. It's actually pushing us back, because when you don't have I guess the opportunity to do something or make something of yourself because there's a robot doing it for you, I think you kind of lose a little bit of your humanity, maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, that's exactly what they said about like dogs and stuff. I read an article about dogs. There's so many people have been getting dogs that dogs are losing their natural instincts of being
absolutely.
And that's true what you're kind of saying. That I could see that also, but I can also see the fact that, I mean, what you just said, Joe, is 100%. Say, for example, you got all these kids out there that know how to use internet, they know how to, do coding and all this stuff, and yet they don't know simple things like mathematics. Like if they're going to read and write, they don't even know how to read and write, because half of them are using abbreviated words for.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because that happened to me this past weekend. Me and my wife went to a Chipotle in PA, in I won't mention the area, but it was a very upscale area. And first it was a horrible experience there. Like there was no type of customer service. There was one person that was working the front, and sometimes she would disappear in the back, and there was a line of people, and everybody was getting upset, and some of the product wasn't available, and it was just a bad experience. So at the end, we get to the end, and my order comes to $24.51. So I paid in cash, and I went to give the girl $25.51 because I didn't want change. I wanted the $1 back, and I gave her it, and she just stared at me.
Oh no!
That's happened to me.
She says you gave me too much money, and I said, what's the thing? I said, what's the total? It's $24.51. I said, yeah. I said, just give me $1 back, and she just stared at me, and she goes, she gave me the change back, and she goes, oh, it's easier for me to give you the change. Wow. And I said, oh, okay, and I took the change, and she gave me my change from it, and I said, okay, now what does this add up to? $1. You could have given me $1 bill back. And she just stared at me like I don't think she knew what planet she was on. Like I was speaking a different language.
That happened to me 4 times, Joe. I know exactly.
Oh my. See, Sophia would have given you that $1 back.
Yeah, absolutely. She would.
And she would have choked you.
Yeah, if I was nice to her.
Slap you, pop.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And how many times that happens too with, there's times where I've gone into gas stations and paid with cash, and if the register's down, these kids have no idea how to give change. They'll give you the wrong change, under change, you over change, and it's like,
come on, man. You know what the problem is with all that? It's not that the kid. The problem is that we have a generation. What do they call it, Generation Z or something like that, where they're just told to do. And kids today and young people, very few of them know how to think on their own. Like they'll say or believe anything they're told. And that's why a lot of times, like, the politics.
Yes, go to houseoftheunusual.com and spend all your money.
That's
Do it now. Do it now.
And, it's bizarre. But, one thing I wanted to bring to you guys, especially what Joe said is, and that gets me so mad also, when they wanted the exact change. And one time I almost told the person, are you kidding me, man? Like, are you dumb? But I didn't. I held myself because, I gave them the same thing for a change. And they're like, no, just give me the thing, because they put it in the computer and they want to only give you what the computer says.
That's
they
it.
don't know how to count from whatever. But that's very common, and that's what the fault is: technology.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to give people out there the wrong idea that technology is not good, because there are some fantastic developments in technology. And I tell you what, I had a great experience with one on Tuesday. So I don't know if I've talked with you guys this before, but I'm a huge hockey fan. I love the Pittsburgh Penguins. Chuck, what about you guys? You guys are right there.
Oh,
Penguins fans?
Penguins, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's sad that they lost the playoffs and all
I
that.
know.
But I'm a huge Penguins fan, and let me preface this. So back in the 90s, I used to play hockey all the time. And I didn't get a chance to play ice hockey because it was just too expensive for my family to afford. So we played street hockey.
Oh, that's good.
On rollerblades and all that, because it was a lot cheaper, and me and my buddies could do odd jobs, cut grass and all that, make a few bucks and buy, a pair of inline skates and a stick and a ball or puck, whatever. So at the time, you would just pretty much go buy whatever skates, and they would hurt your feet. I mean, they were just all over the place. So about a week ago, I said, I'd really like to start getting back into playing hockey and watching hockey. It was such a big part of my life in the 90s, and for some reason, the last 20 years, it just got away from me. I haven't played since about 2001. I'd really like to start playing, street hockey and get into ice hockey and all that. And, great workout and all that.
Oh,
too.
That would be a great workout. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what? So I went out to Pure Hockey out in Cranberry. I said, I'm gonna go get my skates, all my equipment and all that. So I went out there and I talked to the kid that works there. I told him the whole story. I said, I don't know what's out there. I said, I don't know what kind of skates. So they put me on this platform, and it gave you a 3-dimensional look of your feet.
Wow.
And all the pressure points and all that. And they were able to match, because I got flat feet and my feet are just screwed up from, years of abuse, in the military and everything else.
Yeah.
So I actually, he found the skates that I need, and he gave me these insoles that would help my feet and help actually level them out, that would alleviate knee and hip pain.
Well, that's amazing. Now that's technology used for the right reasons. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm thinking, wow, this is great. I said, if I had this in the 90s, I said, I could have alleviated, a lot of pain on the skates that I bought. Because they were just, you would just buy whatever's there. Right. I said, but now these, and I tell you what, I went out and I wore them yesterday, the inline ones, and my knees felt good. My hips felt good. My feet felt good. Wow. So, there is, now that's a perfect example of how technology could help us, and it's not taking away from anybody's job there. The kid, he actually had to go through some training to learn how to read it and use it. And it was fantastic. I got matched up with exactly what I needed, and it actually helped, benefit me health-wise by alleviating a lot of those pains. So there is some good, I guess, robotics and artificial intelligence, technology help out there. So
yeah, they're even doing robotics for the surgeries now. I mean, the doctor is still guiding the instruments, but through like a robotic hand. Like these. Yeah. Did you see? Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Now you've probably seen a lot of that in the medical field, Cheri. How big was technology and artificial intelligence in your field?
It is growing, and actually, I've had surgery done with robotics, and it was kind of like, oh wow, I don't know. I mean, the doctor's there; they're looking on a screen. They're the ones that are guiding everything, but I don't know why.
I think it's you know what?
Basically, you're old school. You just wanted the people,
just
right?
get in there by yourself and do it.
Here's one advantage, Cheri, that I could see in that.
What's
robotics are sterilized, so your body will have a less chance to get some type of infection than if the doctor was using his gloves and hands. Second, the cuts are more precise and stuff. Would there be less scar tissue?
Yeah. See, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I think they got a steadier hand, I guess.
Yeah, and the third thing is that the more technology that does, for example, that's where technology should go 100 years in advance from now. And I'll tell you why. Say women that had breast cancer in the past, they would cut off the entire breast. Right. Now they can just cut out whatever and the breast stays there.
Yes.
So they have technology in that field, especially because I had also robotic surgery for hernias. And let me tell you, I came out of the hospital in one day. I only got tired when I walk a long distance, but I had no pain.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yep. Wow.
Yeah, years ago when they cut the first hernia, I had 30. I was in the hospital 3 days or 4. And man, when I was coming out of that surgery, it felt like somebody had stuck a knife in me and cut me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. And our son just had an appendectomy, and they just go like through a couple little keyhole areas, little slits. It's amazing.
That is amazing.
I had my appendix out when I was 13. I think I was 12 or 13. So it would have been around 92, 93. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, my scar was so small compared to people that I've seen that would show me their scar that had the surgery in like the 70s and 80s. It was like a huge scar. And mine was very small, and I still have it, but you could barely see it now.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, the one thing I want to get back to, Joe, is the bad feet. You're not the only one. When I was a kid, I always had hand-me-down shoes, so my shoes never fit right. Oh my goodness! So I have to go get a pedicure like twice a year. So when I take my socks off, the woman tells me, put those back on.
Oh no, she doesn't.
but my toes are horrible. They're all bent and everything.
I said, they're funky toes.
I tell you what, Chuck, is that my wife was telling me, because she does a lot of running, and she said that a lot of the stores that specialize in like running shoes and walking shoes, that they have the same type of technology where they'll match up your foot. They'll get a 3-dimensional photo of it, check the pressure points, and then they can match the shoe that fits to you.
I should get that. You know what? I should get that done. I bet my feet look like a lobster, so I don't know. If
I got to get that done, man. I got flat feet too. Hey, Chuck, here's the true thing that you wanted to tell Joe. See, Chuck has acquired through some connections he has, worldwide connection, the actual Frankenstein's journal for Dr. Frankenstein. So, Joe, I think we have a solution for your feet. If you give them
cut off Chuck's feet and put new ones on.
No. We will cut off your feet and put new ones on.
I wish. I tell you what, I should have had when I was younger the surgery for my arches, because I have a lot of arch issues, and I still think about it today. If I should, if I'm not too old to have it, and I'm sure that technology has advanced for that, but
they can do robotics on your feet.
Yeah, but I tell you what, even with the skates that I bought and the arches that the guy gave me, or the insoles, they actually have a an arch support system in it, and the support goes actually from the arch all the way to the heel. And I tell you what a difference that it made, because last Sunday I went to the ice rink and just used the regular hockey skates there, and after a half hour, my feet were killing me. You could just tell there's no support in them. With these ones, it's like night and day, and it's because of technology. Because back before any of that was invented, you would just go and you would say, "Oh yeah, I'll take these skates or these shoes, throw them on, and kind of work through the pain." I guess
the thing when you're talking about feet and stuff, I have flat feet like you, Joe. And I've known a lot of doctors from working in the hospital. The problem with that is that a lot of people are not aware that your feet have more bones, I think, than the rest of your body. It's very complicated. Mm-hmm. And what happens with that, say, for example, you did arch surgery. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden now your feet, the balance of your feet will be different than what you're standing on right now. So you got to remember, after all the years that you've been out, you're better off getting those temporary support things, because I'll tell you why. Your body's used to walking a certain way. So now if you get your feet fixed and now you're walking the right way, guess what? Your lower back, your upper back, everything's going to start to hurt, because now it's technically your body feels that it's not the normal position it's supposed to be in. So it has a 50-50 chance either it will work or you'll just get pain where
that's true.
No robot ever felt pain. And remember the $6 million man, Joe? That could be your solution.
I'm telling you, man, I need body parts to be put back together. But you know what? I've had knee pain for years too, for probably the last 25 years, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I went. A good buddy of mine's a chiropractor, and I talked to him, and he said it's because you have tight hips, that your hip muscles are tight. You need to straighten out your hips. I said, what the heck does that have to do with and I tell you what, he gave me some exercises and stretches to do, and my God, that I wish I would have known that 25 years ago, because it has helped immensely.
Yeah, I have to do that too myself.
You know, and he said, how do you think all these pro athletes and all that? He goes, they all have knee issues. He goes, but they're still playing because they go to doctors and specialists that give them these exercises to do, and it helps them. And I said, I wish I would have known about this years ago, because, I do them daily. I try to do them daily, and the knee pain has gotten a lot, less than it has in the past. And that's just fantastic. But that, that's something that I don't know. Could AI have told me about?
Well, yes. If you would have had Ex Machina, the girl, she would have told you, Joe.
She would have chopped off my knees.
You should have ripped off your knees and hit you in the mouth.
Let me say one thing to you guys, man, about technology and the $6 million. I seen this guy for a couple of years, not a couple of years, but he's walking up and down, running. Never realized. I always saw him with pants. I never realized he was missing a leg. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So he doesn't limp. He just walks right normals, runs, hops. And then one day I see him with shorts, and I go, am I seeing this for real? I was like, I've never seen a guy walk so perfect, and his leg is missing from his knee down.
That's amazing.
But, look at going back to, the military, and Cheri, you could probably speak to this a lot too, is the advancements of people that have lost limbs, and that's probably technology right there that can make them out and give them these arms that work and legs that work.
It's amazing. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen that a lot, at the hospitals and everything. And you look back at soldiers from World War I and II, and it's like, throw a piece of wood on and you're good to go.
Yeah, and to think
here's you're missing the hand, here's your hook. Good luck.
That's true.
But to think that Joe has been holding back technology by not using self-checkout, oh my God, that's horrible.
I tell you what, I never had knee issues, but my lower back, I've had an issue for about 27 years now. Yeah. And that, and my pelvic shifts somehow, and the chiropractor got to put it back into place, and that really hurts. You know what? So if I ever get this cleared up, I'd probably be about 6 foot tall instead of 5'10".
Well, you know what, Chuck? When I went into the military, I went in at 5'9", and after 3 years of jumping out of planes, I came out at 5'8".
Oh,
wow.
And I had horrible back issues because everything was compressed from when you would hit the ground so hard. Everything, the spine and everything compressed, and I looked for exercises for years online, and I found one. It's called the wrestler bridge, and you do it like the old school wrestlers used to do, where you go back and you try to touch your nose on the ground. So you're really like arching your back and everything. And I tell you what, I started that and I could barely arch it. After doing it a month, I've never had back issues since.
Wow.
Maybe you should start doing.
Good.
Yeah,
that's
honey.
good.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah, send it.
Joe,
I tell you what, I had such bad back issues that I couldn't stand up straight sometimes. I couldn't get out of bed. And for a month.
I have the answer, Joe.
What you got, Eddie?
Didn't Chuck had a head chopper one time?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. Wait. It's not about chopping off Joe's head. Please don't do that. We don't have a host. We need one of those old-fashioned stretchers. The bed that used to pull people apart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
And we'll have Joe, torture him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring him back up to 5'9".
Yeah.
Hey Joe, we'll do like the movie.
Yeah,
That
Dr. Sadism was.
yeah, we'll put them on 4 horses and
Yeah, there you go.
That'll stretch him out too far.
Yeah, I'll be 6 foot.
You might even get to be 6'2", baby.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll send you the link for some of those exercises, Chuck. It is a life. I'm telling you, it's a lifesaver.
Yeah, because I need something. My lower back, it still hurts from falling down that stupid slope. And
yeah, it's painful at first, but man, does it help? Yeah, it's fantastic. So
I appreciate it.
Guys, when I was saying the torture bed and stuff, I know it sounds kind of funny, but they do use that in some chiropractor's office where they stretch you out.
That's what I'm getting tomorrow, I think. A decompensation.
Yeah, and so it technically does kind of work. The only thing in the old days, they stretched you out a little bit too much.
Like a traction. Yeah, that's true.
But it's kind of like, Chuck, didn't you go to that inverting thing in your son's house where he put you upside down?
Yeah, I'm still up in the air about that because I think my back felt worse.
I think it messed me up.
But you know why, though? It actually felt worse because it was stretched out.
Yeah.
Because now your feet are holding your whole body, which is heavier.
Yeah.
And but the point with that is that's kind of like the same thing with Joe's talking. Anything that you do, even like say, listen, I got flat feet, man. I got to go every 2 months because I get a corn here, and if not, it goes here, and it's crazy. And I can't even walk by the 3rd month. So I have to go to the doctor, the podiatrist constantly. And one thing I'm going to tell you, though, is one time I went $400 for a stupid insert that they molded my feet, they whatever. Oh, yeah. Man, you know what it started giving me? Instead, it didn't give me the corns as much as before, but what it did, it gave me spurs because it was so hard in the back.
It gave you popcorn.
No, spurs is like that's the bone underneath your heel where sometimes you're going to put your feet down.
Yeah.
And it hurts. So I'm kind of glad I took them off right away before it actually turned into that. But that's what I'm saying, that in reality, everything can have a positive and a negative. No,
that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? And guys, we're a little bit under 4 minutes here.
Okay.
And, we've talked about, the pros and cons of artificial
AI.
intelligence and technology and all that. And I just want to kind of end the talk with just to introduce and reintroduce some people to Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics real quick here. So, maybe you could think about them when you're dealing with AI and technology. So number 1 is a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Number 2, a robot must obey the orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And number 3, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. So remember those when you are dealing with artificial intelligence out there. Maybe not those laws still play a part. I don't think that they really do.
Cheri, I don't know.
Cheri.
Yes.
Make sure you hide the robot that Chuck's got him back there. Doesn't obey any of those laws, okay?
Okay.
Hide it in the closet there.
I got to talk to Alexa too for Amazon or whatever that is we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Say Alexa, please don't kill us while we're sleeping.
Exactly.
You know what's crazy about Alexa? Really
don't turn the gas on.
But hey, guys, we're down to about 2 minutes here, so I want to thank everybody for joining us. Once again, we are on our countdown to number 100, and I think we got maybe 3 episodes to go.
All right.
So we'll have a special one for that. Also, don't forget to check out our flagship website, houseoftheunusual.com. Come join our free forum there and interact with some like-minded people. Also, check us out on YouTube at House of the Unusual. Chuck and Eddie are always putting up some great videos there every week. You won't be disappointed. There's something there for everybody. And, keep joining us every week on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to our little show here. And please leave us a good review. That definitely helps with the algorithms and all that and getting us out to more people. Our podcast is broadcast all over the world. We got people listening to in almost every country. Hopefully every continent except for Antarctica, but we're trying to get down there too. So we want to thank everybody worldwide that continues to listen to us and supports us. And please jump on that forum and start showing us some of your collection and some of your favorite items, maybe some of your favorite movies, TV shows, books, whatever you have. And drop us a line on there if you want to hear us talk about something different on the podcast. We're more than welcome. And if you want to be a guest, you don't have to be an expert in something. You maybe just want to talk about your collection. We'd love to hear about it, or maybe your favorite movie. We'd love to hear about it and talk with you about it. So, hey guys, that's all we have for this week. Tune in next week as we are on our road to episode number 100. So, Chuck,
please,
Cheri, Eddie,
Alexa.
Yeah, don't tell Alexa. Thank you guys for joining us. Good night, everyone.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
God bless. Bye-bye.